topic is about transportation issues. So today we will mainly discuss what is preliminary design issues in any type of a project. We can also call it what is a preliminary design for any project. Preliminary design is the stage in which general project location and design concepts are determined and formulated. It also includes other data such as to on the basis of which design is actually taken apart. Furthermore, if you would like to know a little bit about the preliminary design, so those are the high-level decision document concerning through which, with the help of a architecture definition, analysis in different phases, along with other stakeholder inclusion. So then we reach to the any type of a preliminary design survey process. Topic will mainly focus on three different phases. The first one is about to understand what are the barriers for any type of a planner while designing any type of a transportation projects. Second, we will talk about is we already explained a little bit about what is desk survey and what is ground survey. But again, I will just give you a very short overview. So the disk study and walkover studies are like disk study and ground study are the two essential components for a ground investigation, such as if you would like to do a testing, drilling, or boring, or maybe sometime it may be committed, but these parts of site investigation process must always carried. So disk study is actually when you are doing your actions before taking part and when you are in your office while evaluating and analyzing different charts and so on, while the ground study is consists of a site topography, geological investigation, geotechnical problems, perimeter, groundwater condition, existing construction and services, previous lands, and expected construction risks and investigation methods and so on. The last part is consist of a understanding the limits of preliminary survey and its role in the success of a any project. So like how much the preliminary design survey is important in the success of any type of a project. So that's very much important. The second slide is about what are the barriers in transportation. So the first part is mainly focusing on that how public transportation is limited in terms of accessibility and coverage. And that's very understood that we cannot provide transportation each and everywhere. It's not possible because the construction, design, analysis, all those things are actually done on the basis of CBA and also to provide access and also to provide facilities to the people. But at the end, what state or country or city or local administration want also to return their investment as well as soon as possible. Okay? So always public transportation is limited or inaccessible in some areas where we have a small percentage of benefit and we cannot adopt kind of a modern technology. And also the orientation and mobility skills are also very much important as well. So this is the part of a very first one. We cannot cover or facilitate each and every person. So that's again very hard decision. So like the cityman's developer administrator, he should decide on the basis of a crowd, on the basis of a population, on the basis of a density, that where he should provide the local public transport, which would benefit the people and also to fulfill their demand as well. The third part is about the small percentage of benefit from the adaptive technology. So if you install there a modern technology and people cannot enhance or utilize the same technology and its cost is very much high, so then again we have an issue and problem. Last part is about orientation and mobility skills. So the the actually this part is related to the developer, to the administrator, to the decision maker, who is basically going to decide that which part should be mobilized or not on the basis of what scheme. And also awareness is also needed in terms of like the municipality administration should make sure to provide a different terms of selection, different mode of selection, different uh, ways of selection to travel from origin to destination, such as tram, BRT, AGT, shared car, etc. So these are different type of barriers before to go in any type of a project of any type of a transportation such as road, railway, airport, or maritime or ocean engineering or shipping. So all those parameters should be kept in mind. So now we will talk about a little bit that what are the disadvantages or restriction or how the through planning we can restrict our people. The first one is we already mentioned that we cannot provide the public transportation to each and everywhere. This is not again possible. Again, I'm saying that every state, if they want to subsidize any project, they should see that how much uh, year or time is actually needed to return their investment back. Second part is about that most of the people, this is a very journal figure which is already taken from a survey part that most of the people actually live in rural areas, and they almost 25% people have not access to the public transportation. So you could imagine that among 40% people, 25% again do not have access to the public transportation. And then third part is urban sprawl, is the population is increasing at a very high rate, at a very fast, rapid pace. Cities are expanding, the industries are expanding day by day. Uh, People are trying to move from the city center to the outskirt, and also all those people are mainly dependent on their own car. So the city planner could not provide the public transportation each and everywhere. Third part is about the elderly people. Elderly people, we sometimes cannot, uh, we did not put them in our consideration. So uh, your planner should be for all age people, such as a handicap, such as the people having a wheelchair, such as the people are crippled. So, and for the old age people, for the young age, so for and for the kids and children and so on. So means that you should consider the disabilities as well. There is an act of disability is today we will also study one study which was already done for the Alabama. So they have considered the American people with disabilities. So they have said that more people live in rural areas rather than urban areas. And also we have the poverty percentage as well. Of course, people who are away from the jobs. So most of the people with disabilities, of course, they are mainly dependent on the state, on their own people. So the people who are usually live in an outskirt, their per capita income is also very much less. And also the next part is about economics. That the 31% people below eh, actually live below poverty line. So it means that they are not even able to run their regular expenses as well. For which people usually consider alternative ways or other ways to take care of of themselves, of their families, and so on. And also for most of the people, again, public transportation is inconvenient as well. For example, if you will tell someone that first you have to go with a cycle for like 3 to 4 kilometers and his age is around 60 or 70, and then you should take a bus, and then you should take a train or tram, and then you should reach to a city center. For old age people, it is again inconvenient that the old person should ride a cycle for 3 to 4 kilometers, and then so the planner should consider all those parameters. So those are overall the restriction in different uh, direction where sometimes designer made or make so many mistakes. Today we will mainly talk about the study which was already done by the National Research and Training Center, which is an abbreviation of basically NRTC, which was the study was is actually done for the Alabama in United States of America. In this study, the people of Alabama is actually failed to anticipated or appeared in the participant survey where the purpose was to provide information and also to consider the impact and also to provide the job extension as well. And also the purpose was to examine the stress if they don't have the availability of a public transport. Of course, it is very odd if the same person visit to a city center where he or she does not have a facility of a transportation. Of course, the stress level will be quite high. So in this specific survey, 142 people took part where they were motivated with a $25 gift bag on their participation. The purpose was to understand the different employment rate, the level of transportation, and also to understand that how much they are feeling stresses or they have issues which are associated with the transportation. So according to that survey, and the survey was basically done in 2010, where different age of people took part, and where people also took part with disabilities as well. So as you can see, the people are actually described as white, Caucasian, Black, African American, uh, Hispanic, multiracial, Asian, Amerindian, and so on. Okay. So those were the people. So keep in mind if you are doing any type of a survey for your study, so that should classify the age of the people. I wouldn't call it a race, but of course type of the people, class of the people, in terms of a employment, in terms of a per capita income, in terms of a mode of a travel, in terms of a other environmental or such type of issues, particularly regarding employment and so on. Okay. According to that specific survey where the different neighborhood respondent in terms of a public survey, public transportation survey, so according to that, there were 45% of the people respondent which were spouses or having a girlfriend or partner, 34% people were like living their life alone, while 6.3% was kind of divorced, like adult children and other families. If you see the employment status of that specific neighborhood, so the rate of employed and unemployed is almost 50% people were like 45% were employed while 26% were unemployed. But if you see the other people, such as like retired or like volunteer only, like self-employed, of course the proportion of unemployment is quite high. So and also of course, as we already mentioned that the people with disability, most of the people live in a rural area. So again, they have issues in terms of to get a employment job. And of course, in the whole world, there isn't any type of a that type of a laws or rule where we should give a place or to provide a quota system to like them as well. If we see about in terms of employment barriers, like to under why not to use public transportation. So there were different type of a reason to like that specific question. such as employment discrimination or like negative attitude they were faced. So like 55% people actually take that specific mark, while lack of accommodations or like lack of space in peak hour, 46%, 47% people almost take that part as well. While the people who don't want to travel, like maybe they consider that public transportation is very much expensive, as like it's because they don't have a job. So 44% people take that part as well. And of course, that lack of a jobs with adequate pay, that of course each and everyone would like to do a job, but in which he or she can gain something by not kind of working always for some third company or something to benefit someone else. And then the next part is about potential loss of benefit, and then we have a difficulty with the travel, such as cripple or like old age people, and then we have a rehab counselor or like they have kind of low expectation that they even cannot work, or even cannot travel with local public transport or like such type of it. So those were the barriers that people faced in terms of a percentage when the question was asked from them, like why specifically they are not using public transportation. The next part is about mode selection to travel, to work, for example, through public transportation and survey. So how do you typically go to work, either through public transportation or with a walk or a paratransit, a spouse, or in your car? So different type of people uh, kind of answer to that specific question in a different way. So like walking, which most of the cities are nowadays constructed with a transit oriented and developed, which is called TUD concept as well. The next part is about paratransit. So they use different type of modes of public transportation available, and 17% people actually answer that he or she usually travel with his or her wife or husband. And so, in terms of satisfaction, when the question was asked that on a rate of a 0 to 10, how you can give a credit or how you can give a rank to the public transportation, uh, the same was also not very much encouraging as well. Okay, because 23% were like not satisfied, while 4 to 6 people were like kind of neutral. The ratio was, but sorry, 44% people were like neutral, and 33% one almost satisfied. So there is a strategy which we call push, pull, and improve. Of course, if you want to push the people not to use their own car and to travel with the public transportation, then you should consider the dissatisfaction level along with the neutrality to convert all of them to the satisfied. So if we have if you see to that specific figure, only 33% people are satisfied, while 66% people are among dissatisfaction. Neutral also means dissatisfaction. So just to give a less time to that specific survey, people usually say that I'm like kind of neutral. I don't want to comment. So, but again, as a planner, is a decision maker, you need to convert all those people to 100% or at least 70 to 75 or to 80% you should target. And also, as a planner, you should always be ready to take every kind of a criticism in terms of improvement. If we see the public transportation survey result of the uh, national of the NRTC results, so according to that, 75% had public transportation availability, while 58% use public transportation one or more times per week in the last year, while 77% were somehow comfortable while using public transportation. 94% who do not have a public transportation would use if it's available, while 83% use a paratron. That means combination of different modes. While 11% were somewhat uncomfortable using public transportation, which reason were not used. So in terms of we again reclassify that it was maybe inconvenient, difficulty, and poor shelter, and so on. In terms of difficulty in finding that how much difficulty experience was used, so people use it for the entertainment or for the leisure purpose for about 5 to 2% for the visiting family. So like this is the rating out of 10 on the scale of 0 to 10. So visiting families up to 5.40 to use it for a grocery or shopping or a recreational purposes. It was somehow up to 9 out of 10. Employment is 4. Medical appointment is 4.32. While worship is like on the holy days, it's up to 4%. So we should consider the employment factor that because less people are still using public transportation, we should pull them to use public transportation. Lack of public transportation limits in terms of accessibility. So when the question was asked from the employment that why you are not using the public transportation, so 48% people usually answer in terms of that maybe it's not convenient for them or maybe not accessible where they are working. So there is again a strategy that every city or like every major district part or every business area should be covered with different mode of public transportation to provide different choices for travel to the people. If we consider the transportation stress level, so employment say that they have a 31% stress, which is very less among the people who want to use it for the entertainment or for the leisure activities. Thank you. If you have any question, please you can write comment below, then I can get back as soon as possible.